Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through my AFL tips for round 9, as well as reviewing the tips from a pretty poor round 8. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And if you are listening on the Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there, and let's jump into these tips. So for those that this is obviously being recorded on the Friday, and that's just because I couldn't have uploaded 5 in a day on Thursday with everything going on. So decided to delay this one a day after the first game of the round for round 9, and it actually worked out well. So it might be something I look at in the future if I ever am actually sort of behind on uploads and stuff like that because of other commitments. I may delay this one till the Friday, etc., because that will help help out the scheduling. But anyway, the first game of the round, Essendon versus North Melbourne in round 8. Reviewing the tips here. I tipped Essendon by 23. They won by 20. So, sorry, they won by 3, not 20. So I was 20 points off. Switch those couple around there. So 20 points off. Everyone pretty much predicted Essendon to win. They just thought that they'd be more competent than this because North Melbourne, I'm pretty sure, got thumped the week before this. If I just go down here. So North Melbourne the week before lost to Port by 9 points, and then a loss to Carlton by 82, and they thought that it was just Port being off, but it looks more so that Essendon and Port are just sort of not really that top tier level, sort of that 10 to 14 bracket, much like the Freo that we'll talk about now. Freo, I somehow tipped them by 15, and they ended up losing by 76, so I was 76 points off in the margin, sorry, because they lost by 61. They just couldn't. Their entries into the forward line are so pathetic at the moment. They've gone back to this kick around the back style, and Luke Ryan is scoring well. Luke Ryan and Jordan Clark are scoring well in Supercoach. But if you actually look at the players that they're marking, I'm pretty sure in the last 2 weeks, those two combined have given up like 14 or 15 goals. And Freo, I don't think they might not have even kicked 15 goals. I'm not 100% sure, but they might have only kicked like 17 or 18 goals in the last 2 weeks compared to what those two have given up. As we know, Luke Ryan gave up 6 to Jamie Elliott, and I'm pretty sure Jordan Clark was on Bobby Hill, who gave up, I think Bobby Hill kicked 3 or 4. So they conceded 9 or 10, I think, in just the Collingwood game alone. So yeah, that's really, really poor. And they're a really, really poor side. Then we get to Port Adelaide against Western Bulldogs. I thought Port would be better than this, and yeah, they were just really, really, really poor. And so, yeah, Western Bulldogs look like a top side. The one thing I'm worried about with Western Bulldogs, and I'm pretty sure they've done this countless years, is they get to about round 18, round 19. They look set on to be a top side. They usually sit in about 5th, 6th, 7th. And then they just forget how to win. They've lost to, I think, West Coast, was it 2 years ago? And that's what caused them to miss the 8, I want to say. So they've done this plenty of times where they just do this and they miss the 8, or they just scrape into the 8 and they go out in the first week of finals. So I said Port Adelaide by 12 points. I was 102 points off in total for that tip. A really horrific tip. 17 goals off. Then we get to Adelaide versus Carlton. I said Carlton by 10, and they lost that one. And they lost it pretty comfortably by 60 points. So I was 70 points off there. So that is 248 points off in the last 3 games. What's that? 41 goals, something like that. So yeah, really bad tipping there. And Carlton aren't as good as what I thought they'd be. And Adelaide are still a decent side, but they still have problems, I would say. Adelaide, but look so much better with Crouch out of the side. Go figure. And then I think this was tipped before Crouch's injury. So yeah, that kind of would have flipped a little bit. Melbourne, I tipped by 34. They won by 32. So it's 2 points off there. So a pretty good tip there. Then I tipped Collingwood because I thought Collingwood would win. But, and I thought that they were just stronger than Geelong. But they had a minor blip. And they're still one of the best sides in the league. So I tipped them by 21. They lost by 3, so I was 4 goals off there. Then I tipped GWS in the derby. and I tipped them by 13, but my Swans got over the line. I was happy about that. So sort of sometimes you can have a tip wrong, but still be really happy about a result. And yeah, Swans just deservedly won the game. I feel like they battled very, very tough conditions in general, and were just way more effective than GWS. And so yeah, will be interesting to see how that converges. But if Swans can pick up some form late, they will be interesting in the last couple of weeks of the year, as if we look at their injury list and stuff like that, they really start to get players back soon. So we'll see how that develops. But I'm really intrigued to see how they sort of go on with it, because I could easily see them really kicking into gear, I would say, soon, and potentially getting to maybe even evens. They're by the bye. They're currently 3-5. They could easily win. I don't know who they have exactly next week. We could actually just look this up. We will just look this up quickly here when we see this, and we go to Sydney, because I'm pretty sure they've got Essendon this week. They've got, where is it? Essendon, Carlton, Melbourne in the next 3 weeks. You could realistically see them winning those games. And if that does happen, suddenly they're 6-5. And 6-5 wouldn't put them in the 8, I don't think. As the current 8 is, 6-5 could. 6-5 could put them close to, if not in the 8. But it would put them with a projected, it'd probably put them around the 8th, 9th spot. And if they're 8th or 9th, heading almost into the bye, pre-bye, if they were to beat the likes of Adelaide, and then they could go, what's that? That would be 7-6 into the bye with probably 105, 110 percentage. And then they come out of the bye and have a really rough run of it, I feel like. But having said that, they would, you could easily see them going 7-6, if not 8-5. Then they play Port Adelaide, which they always seem to lose. Then they play Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, St Kilda. Like, I'm seeing them, they could win 3 here, win this game 4. They have a monopoly over GWS at the moment, 5. They beat Essendon pretty regularly. That's another 6 wins. And then they have West Coast. They could win 14 games, 15 games quite easily here, if they just are managing to beat. So yeah, I could see them even dropping, so they would probably drop Adelaide, drop Port Adelaide, I would say, and then drop the Brisbane game 3 games, and then say drop Geelong, so that's another 4 games. So they finish 14-9, realistic, like semi-realistic, 14-9. Like, if they beat Essendon twice, they beat GWS, they beat St Kilda, and then they beat basically Western Bulldogs and Freo. But Freo are pretty bad at the moment, so Western Bulldogs. Those are the only sides that they realistically have to, it's a 50-50 toss-up, like 3 50-50 toss-ups, and they need to win like 2 out of the 3 to make finals. So yeah, I could see that happening, and there could also be boil-overs in maybe Port Adelaide, they lose that, win that game, and maybe the Geelong game, they win it as well, and suddenly that 14 wins is turned into 15, etc. So yeah, that's why I'm saying do not count Sydney out if they can win their next 3, because the injury list gets them back very, very quickly. Then we have the Hawthorn versus Richmond game. I said Hawthorn by 45. They ended up winning by 65, so I was 20 points off there. Let's run through this. And then Brisbane, I said by 27. They won by 17. Pretty decent performance there late on the Sunday night. Then we get into the round 9. And while we can react to this tip, I got the Collingwood tip pretty much dead on. I predicted Collingwood by 14. And they won, by 15, and they won by 14. You would have seen this on my X account that I did tip this one. And so, yeah, pretty happy about that tip in general there, as, to be 1 point off in a margin game specifically is really good. And just to have tipped this one with Freo's outs, with Collingwood's out, is a really good tip in general. Then we get to St Kilda versus Carlton. Even though it's been sort of reported but not reported that Curnow has a fitness test tonight, will be interesting how that sort of flips this game. I still think that Carlton just have the sort of firepower to get over the top of St Kilda, so I'm going to go Carlton to win this game. Yes, St Kilda are a good side, but I think Carlton are just a little bit better and have the more firepower to get through, whereas I don't really see that with the likes of Freo last week. So I'm going to go Carlton in this game by 11 points. Then you have Melbourne versus Hawthorn. I see Hawthorn winning this one. I don't see Melbourne winning it. I think Hawthorn just have the basic. I mean, outside of their midfield, they're basically a fully healthy side. Viney misses for Melbourne as well. It's a huge out. And Gorm will probably continue on his massive games. But yeah, I can just see the likes of Hawthorn just winning this one. I'm going to go Hawthorn by 19 points. Then you have Essendon versus Sydney. I'm going to go with Sydney in this game here. I think that Essendon lost a lot of players as well. And Sydney, I know that they lost Melican, but I just think that Sydney will be able to withstand Essendon. I know it's at Marvel Stadium, but I'm going to go Sydney in a close game by 11 points. Then you have Gold Coast versus Western Bulldogs. It's up at TAO Stadium, which is up in the Northern Territory, and we know that Gold Coast don't lose there, so watch them find a way to lose this, but I'm going to go Gold Coast by 15 points there, as I just think that their midfield is just so accustomed to that, to TAO Stadium, so I think that they win it. And also Western Bulldogs don't have the likes of Adam Treloar, which is still, I know that they played without him, but it's still a big out. Adelaide will beat Port Adelaide in the showdown 57, I believe it is. And they're going to win by, I think, 18 points. It will be close enough, but I just think that their midfield mix is so much better without Matt Crouch in there. Richmond against West Coast. Yeah, I'm going to go Richmond. I just have a feeling that Tim Taranto is going to have one of those games, and he's going to really run it. And Richmond with, is Tom Lynch even? Tom Lynch should be playing, you would expect. So yeah, I just do not understand West Coast at the moment. They're not playing the kids, but they're also not getting, results. So what's the point? It's simply that if you're going to play the kids, expect bad results. But if you play the sort of older, more mature bodies, you should be expecting some sort of results, and they're not getting the results, so you might as well play the kids. Then Geelong versus GWS. Geelong will win this one. They'll be able to bounce back, you would expect, as they've been pretty, I think, just... They won, but then they lost the week before to Carlton, and then they beat Hawthorn, beat Adelaide. So they've actually been on a really good run. They just lost to Carlton a couple of weeks ago, which was a sort of surprise, I would say. So I'm going to go Geelong in this game by 22 points. I just don't know if GWS have it in them. And then Brisbane, yeah, this is the big result of the week. So I'm going to go Brisbane in this one by 60 odd points, 60 flat points. I just think that North Melbourne are really, really poor, and they've been showing fight, but good teams will just run over the top of them. So those are the tips in general, and I guess I will see you guys back here for the next video, which will be my game review of the Fremantle versus Collingwood game, and going through my thoughts on that one in a AFL fantasy and Supercoach mindset. So we'll see you guys in that game. Bye guys.